Hello everyone, I'm Amir Hossein and welcome to this short training video. For any grid-based data such as WRF model outputs or ERA5 data, one of the most common post-processing tasks is extracting the time series of the variables over specific points. For example, let me open a sample WRF output. Here I have plenty of WRF model outputs. This is the domain of the study area, and this is the U component of wind speed. For example, you want to extract data V component or U component of wind speed over this point and this point and this point over 4 points. Let's say you want to extract data in a table, so you can use it in the further processing, such as statistical processing or whatever process you want to do. For doing so, go to your browser and search PostWRF. PostWRF is the name of the tool we're going to use in this training video. Open the GitHub page, and from here copy SSH key, the SSH address to this tool, and here type git clone to get the tools. Okay, go to the PostWRF directory, and here you see we have a name list that all the processings are available in this name list. Actually, just by modification this name list, you can have access to all processings and all capabilities of this tool or software. Before that, let me make all shell scripts in this tool as executive. PostWRF. Okay. I open the name list. Inside the name list, you can find a lot of sections. Actually, for each post-processing task, you can find a specific section. For example, the first section, as you can see, is data extract. The second section is WRF contour plot. If you navigate further, the third section is WRF cross-section plot, WRF statistical diagrams, and so on. You can find a lot of sections that are associated to a specific post-processing task. So for using the WRF or ERA5 data extraction on surface, it means that you cannot extract data on atmospheric level. It only works on the surface. For the first step, you should turn other sections off and turn this section on. For example, you want to extract some data over a WRF model output, so I turn it on, turn this variable on, and I don't touch this variable because it's only can work for WRF or ERA5, not both of them. You cannot select both of them at the same time. So for the variables, let's put some variables here, such as potential vorticity and temperature. And for the points, there are location names and location latitudes and location longitudes. As I showed you, the WRF output, our WRF output before actually, one thing that I forgot is that you are supposed to link all your WRF or ERA5 output here. So I link them as by this command, navigate to the directory that you have stored your WRF outputs and also ERA5 outputs. Okay, now I have all ERA5 outputs and WRF outputs in this directory that I can post-process it. The file that I'm going to post-process, let me open it. What is the domain of this file? Let me check that. The domain covers Iran, so we are going to select, we are going to specify latitudes and longitudes of a couple of points for this domain. Very easily you can look for the latitudes and longitudes of a specific points. For example, for Tehran, I can easily search it. This is the latitudes and longitudes of Tehran. I copy that and get back to PostWRF. I open the name list and let me zoom it. Now it's better. I remove the previous names and put here Tehran, and for locations, latitudes, this is the latitudes and this is the longitude of Tehran. Okay, let me add another point, for example Ahvaz, lat long. Copy the lat long of Ahvaz and Ahvaz, this is the name and this is the latitude and this is the longitude for Ahvaz or second location. And let me pick another city, let's say Isfahan. Isfahan and latitude as the third point and longitude. So the first latitude value goes to the first location, the second latitude goes to the second location, and so on. The same issue is for the longitudes. The first goes for the first location, the second longitude goes for the second name, and the third longitude goes for the second name. Third name, sorry. That's it. You can run the tool, run the PostWRF. It's very easy. Just run it, PostWRF. It shows, prints all the WRF outputs, and you're supposed to choose the file that you're going to post-process. For our case, I choose number 5. This file. This file has been selected. Here you can specify the method of grid interpolation. Let's say number 2, bilinear methodology. And here it prints the range of the domain latitudes. Okay. Okay, it's finished, but the point is that one of the variables, that is T2, was actually not inside the list of variables, either inside the WRF output or one of the WRF diagnostic variables. But the other variables are supposed to be extracted. So go to the output directory. There is a new directory generated here. Go to that directory and open it, and here you can see that for the potential vorticity we have the first column as the time slot inside the WRF output, and the next columns as the locations. So you have easily extracted the values of potential vorticity. But for T2 or this variable t2, this was not inside the WRF output. So you can actually modify the name list and write a correct name. You can use PostWRF by -d. It prints all the diagnostic variables you can use to extract it by the PostWRF. For example, AVO represents absolute vorticity, or GOPT represents geopotential, RH represents relative humidity. You can use one of these variables, or you can use PostWRF if you want to print the variables inside the WRF output. You can use this command, PostWRF--f, and here are the variables that are available inside the WRF output. So here we very easily and very straightforward could extract variables out of the WRF output. So this was the first section of the name list. Actually, name list has a lot of other sections that we will discuss further in the next training videos. Thank you for your attention.